Let's see, I'm the first to go. 4 minutes is quick, so pardon me if I skip over some details that you'd like to know. So my previous interactions between at the intersection of climate and health is through exposure to extreme heat, but as was noted earlier, there's many environmental drivers of which I know about as far as the environment goes, but not about their impacts on human health. So that's why I'm hoping to get involved with this. That would be backwards. Maybe because I have it upside down. Okay, so previously was shown this. I just want to highlight this. Bottom row is year going out to 2100. Y-axis is just the changing global surface temperatures. What was shown previously is just that gray line. This is global. And then the colored lines are going out to future under various what we call mission scenarios. The thing I really want to emphasize is the biggest uncertainty on this is our social, economic, and political uncertainties as far as how the world develops. There is a worst case scenario. It may not even be a worst case scenario. That's what we call business as usual. The globe warms by about 4 to 5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial times. There is a mitigation scenario where we hit maybe 2 degrees Celsius. We still overshoot the 1.5 that was mentioned earlier. I just want to highlight these because both of these will come up in a little bit. So the first time I started working with this was just asking how often are people exposed to really extreme temperatures? In this case, extreme summer temperatures. And even under that scenario, what this is showing is out of 10 years, how many summers are warmer than the top 95%. And this is even under the low emission scenario. And you can see that every single year in a decade, not 10 out of 10, the summers are more extreme. Oh, I have to use this? Ah, shucks. I like walking around. Are more extreme than they've ever, well, than the top 5% that they've historically experienced. And it's a global phenomenon. The other thing, though, is that in all these areas, not only is climate changing, but so are populations. So this is a busy slide, but I'll just say that up here is the change in extreme number of extreme heat days. This is compared to current, so it's 1. But then going into the future, under the high emission scenario, you start to see days, effectively 250, 300 days a year. Every year, they are exposed to what would be called an extreme heat event. Now, not only does that change, but you also get changes in population. So this is current population on the left. I can't get this thing to work for me. But there's population increases going forward. And you can see that there is overlap between where extreme events are occurring and where the largest population growth is occurring. You combine those two and you get your exposure. So this is, we'll just go with relative colors. The exposure is relatively low across the world to extreme events, except for maybe Southeast Asia. You include the population growth, the increase in extreme events, and all of a sudden you're seeing exposure throughout the world, principally in Africa, but also India, Middle East, all through China. And so we can actually quantify the global exposure. And that's this total, the blue one. Don't worry about the numbers. That's the increase in global exposure. But we can break it out to what is the increase just due to population. And if you look, if we just didn't change the climate and allowed population to grow, the exposure rate would be a 15th of what is actually going to occur. Then there's something that's just related to climate, and then there's that interaction effect right there. So if you include those two, both of which are related to climate, that's the 85 to 90% of your total is because the climate is changing, and also in addition, a changing world. This is under the high emission scenario. Let's say we tamp down our emissions to that stabilization. All of a sudden, our overall exposure decreases by 30%. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's 15% or 1/15th. Let's go with that. And so this is in our hands. Whether we end up with this climate or this climate dictates whether there's a 15-fold increase from here to here or not. And so this was an attempt to combine both the demographics with the changing climate. So there you go. I don't know how I did, but